Distance, speed, and time. The handout for distance, speed, and time at the top looks like this. And what this is the most important formula when you start to do your plotting. This is the formula that should be ingrained into your brain by the time you're finished start doing all this plotting. And what it is simply a T. The D stands for distance, and it always goes on top. The S stands for speed, and the T stands for time. And when you start working a problem, read the question. When the question asks you what is the distance, that tells you that when you start your formula, this is what you're looking for. If they say, what is the speed made good, or what is your speed, then this is what you're looking for. So you practice, just make your T, and as you read the questions, it says, okay, the particular question says you're making 12 knots. Okay, there's my speed. And they're going to say you're traveling between these two buoys. You take your dividers and find the distance. Let's say it's going to be 15 miles. This is the unknown, time. So now you have enough to start working your problem. So read the entire question, find out, practice, just go ahead and make your T, read the entire question and go back in and say, all right, what are they looking for? They may say, what is the distance that you're traveling? You're going to say, hot dog, well, there it is. I'm looking for my distance. So what is my job? I got to put down my speed and the time I traveled to find my distance. So every time you do this, every time you do this plot, just make your T. This is the formula. Now, when you start working the formula to try to get the actual numbers, on the left-hand side of your handout, you're going to see it says time, distance, and speed. This is how you find the difference, the time, the distance, and the speed. If I needed to find distance, it's speed times time. If I needed to find a time, it's distance divided by speed. If I needed to find a speed, it's distance divided by time. So when you actually do your problem, always remember, when you're working across, you're going to multiply. So if I have my speed and time, if I'm looking for distance, speed times time equals distance. That helps me find my D. And then the other two, anytime you're working, it's a mathematical problem, and anytime if you're working with fractions and you have a number down here and you're working with a number up here, what this actually means is you're going to divide. So what I do is when I first started working this, I started doing this. So that I know that this is how it's actually found out. If I'm looking for, let's say if I'm looking for time, I have my speed and I'm looking for my time. Time equals distance divided by speed. Speed equals distance divided by time. Distance equals speed times time. So with little things that you can write to help you out, always remember anything above a line you're going to divide. If you're working across the line, you're going to multiply. So work these out, work these problems out, and this is basically the simplistic as you can get as far as working these. You can put more down. You can write your own formula. If you sit down to take your test, you could write 3 or 4 pages. That helps you out. I always made I multiplied and I divide any number above. That's how I always did it. And it helps you out. And after a while you become real cocky. You won't even do it. You don't even have to do your little thing here. You'll write it out. But practice makes perfect. Find what works for best for you. Find the best that you understand. If you're not understanding or picking this up, just remember, make your T. Fill in what you need. And then go back to this handout. Now you will not be allowed to have a handout like this in your testing area, But once you sit down, if you remember, you can sit there and write. Once you sit down, you can take a blank piece of paper and write down all your formulas. This is distance, speed, and time.